Hey, good morning, everybody. How you guys doing this morning? All right, awesome. Well, looking for a to um better start to the day than yesterday. But I didn't get to do my recap. Really, I didn't want to do it last night. I was still in a pretty sour mood, and just really disappointed in myself. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of recap yesterday first, and then we'll look into I didn't mean to do that. Did not mean to kill it like that, but we'll see. Gotta bring my stuff back up. I killed a whole I killed everything. I hope that's not a precursor to what's gonna happen going forward. All right, now we're in good shape. So we're gonna go over that trade. We're gonna recap it from yesterday, and I made a huge mistake. It's all because I came in way too pumped up. I came in way too pumped up, ready to just knock everything out of the park, and excited. The last 2 weeks have been good in the market, and I was just ready, revved up and ready to go, and came out too aggressive, and that's fine. I was basing it on how the market had been the previous 2 weeks, but the mistake I made was I did not manage my risk. I could not accept the fact that I was wrong on this, and that is the worst mistake you can make. Not accepting the fact that you're wrong, and managing your risk. And I didn't do that. So, I let this thing go way against me. Stopped me out up here. That was, I was just reeling. And I finally just had to say, okay, gotta have a line in the sand. But it's funny, I picked the top where I got out, and then we did get a little pullback, which I would have been able to, save some of the losses. But at that point, it was just too far gone. I had no idea who knew it would pull back like this. It probably could have kept going and run all the way up. But just a critical mistake. I'm just too happy, too pumped up, got too aggressive, and then just could not admit the fact that I was wrong on this. So, later on in the day, I just kind of waited. I was still kind of upset, And I wouldn't say this was ill advised, but you can see where we rejected the 50 here. Had a nice pullback. We rejected here, made a lower high. So I was could fully expect this to make the same move. But it obviously it didn't. I was really looking for it to get through 42. It never could get there. It did a little bit here, but just never did hit my target. And, I ended up just taking it off here. I've been patient long enough and it just didn't work, which was a good thing because you can see I kind of noticed a shift in momentum and ended up taking it off. So, that was that. So, it's not really luck. It's just that I made a mistake. I mean, a critical mistake. If I'm going to be aggressive, I need to make sure that I manage my risk even more. And I was just too aggressive. I jumped in off a 2-minute chart versus the 5-minute and, paid the price. So I just have to do better. Yesterday, if you guys were here late yesterday after the close, I did get in an earnings trade. And the reason why I'm showing this right now is I don't normally trade stocks this cheap, small cap stocks. But when earnings come around, everything's kind of fair game. If it sets up right, I'm going to trade it. This was the only stock. You can see these were the only stocks reporting yesterday after close. You can see we had all were small cap stocks. The only one that showed volume during the day was ASNA and, apparel stores. This is an industry that I'm very familiar with. I like trading this sector. So everything kind of fell into place. And that's why, I traded it. So I still got half of it on. I'm waiting for, and I'll show you later on, we'll look at the daily chart. But this is the only case, the only time you really see me trading any stocks that are cheap. So, just wanted to clarify that before we moved forward this morning. All right, so let's look at what we got on tap here. Still got some screens that were blacked out. All right, here we go. All right, so DLTR. Let's take a look at it. Okay, DLTR. Okay, this one is no, not DLTR, sorry. DLR. I did this early this morning. Not Dollar Tree. All right, so this one is up on an offering. Not up on an offering, down on an offering. The offering price is $113 per share. So, usually once it makes the sell-off or it gets to whatever the offering price is, it typically trades sideways. So every now and then you do see a stock that has an offering move around a little bit. I don't expect this one to. I think this one's going to trade within that range the rest of the day. It's pretty much done. So I'm not going to, put that on watch TGTX, this one's a little bit lower priced. So, not really something I would take. But, you could look. We are, let me see, where's the 52-week low on this? Yeah, we've got down below the 52-week low, which, kind of makes this interesting a little bit. We've got down below the 52-week low, but it's, a lower price stock. It may be margin restricted at some point, but it's not one that I would take. But it's a nice, could be a nice setup for you guys that like the lower price stocks. CGC and TLRY, I haven't been trading these. I missed the initial boat, and now, they're on 100% margin restriction, no shorts. So there's really nothing I can do with those, in the small account. So I don't even waste time looking at the charts on them. That's why I never really bring them up. So SQ. Now this one had an analyst upgrade. I think the price target was like 125. So had a nice little spike up. So we'll, keep this one on watch. You can see we're up in this window here. See, we're kind of in this window between 84, 34, 92. We don't really have anything else in between other than this 20 here at 87.44. Let me mark that. What is it? 87.44. Okay, it's 87.44. So we've got some pretty good room on this. So we'll put this on watch. It can, something that, if it gets enough volume and enough interest, it can set up for us. No, what killed me on NTNX was me. It wasn't an analyst upgrade. It wasn't the catalyst. It was me. Had I traded it right, I would have made money on it. But didn't trade it right. So can't blame the catalyst on that one. So GOLD, we looked at this yesterday. And, this is just not a good daily chart. You could look at this thing, you can see how it's just a chopped up mess. Very little movement. So not a good day trading stop for me. All right, so KORS, this one had a huge sell-off yesterday. But you see, it is It is bouncing or trying to recover. You see, we had a huge sell-off yesterday here. And we are bouncing. So, now it's, let's see. Yep, so the word is out this morning that it's buying Versace. I think it came out yesterday. Because it sold off the way it did. But it looks like it's bouncing here. But this one it does have some room to move around. I need to clean up this chart. I'm going to take all of this off and start over again. Because it's got some old levels on here. Alright, so yesterday we ran into, let's see, 66. This is where the 100 day is. 200 day at 66. Here is the 90, which is at 68, 63. Whatever. I gotta change the price anyway. What's the price on this? 68, 63. $68, $63. And then what do we have? Let's see, these are right on top of each other. So I'll go ahead and make this yellow because the 50 is going to be stronger than the daily level. So I'm just going to make it yellow. So I'll know that that's a 52. Alright, so we've got some nice windows in here if this thing gets going good. Really windows to either side. And we got 75.96. Yep, so I'll put KORS on watch as well. See if anything else hit the scanner yet. Absolutely not. You can see this only has a 2.5 million share float. So we wouldn't even look at that. And I'll just buzz through this. The main gapper scan, all I'm doing is looking for volume. And then I'll look over here at the price and the float. See if it's something that falls into my wheelhouse. Already looked at that. Let's see, TS. Let me take a look at that. That's just got a hair. Oh no, that's an ugly daily chart. Nothing there. Plus, you only had a 63-cent ATR, so it doesn't really move much on average. Not interested in that one. All right, so I've got two so far. We still got about 10 minutes left before I actually finalize it. So, we'll see. So we'll go ahead and look at our swing trade watch. Now yesterday, like I said, we didn't take any swing trades because of what the market was doing. The market was gapping down. We were red. And come on, thing. What's wrong with you? It was gapping down. We were red. And so you can see there was just no trades. Because all of our strategies, our short-term swings are to the long side, didn't make any sense to even look at them yesterday with this thing gapping down. It was already red. It sold off overnight. It was already red. So, just leaving it at that. So this morning, we are green. We had a nice move up. We've since pulled back some, as you can see. But we may be, recovering here. See, we just kind of pulled back a little bit. We may be bouncing and recovering here. So I want to keep an eye on our swings. But all of them pretty much did the same thing. Carbon copy yesterday. Just kind of pull back. You see, we pulled back from the 52-week high. But we're still sitting on the 20. So we get a bounce off of that. I'm a player. FIS, and you can go through our whole list, and they all pretty much look the same as far as the 52-week highs. I think ILMN did end on a green candle, but it still didn't do well. This is the higher price one. You can see we ended the day, strong, on a strong note. And, here we are today. We gapped up a little bit. So this may be triggering an entry here today. If this is something, for those that, this price stock is in their wheelhouse. So the oversold ones we were looking at, I was honestly expecting this to set up even better. I was really looking for this thing to sell off down to the 200 yesterday. which would give us a even better entry. But it didn't. No, it just kind of held its own. So this is, still in play for our oversold setup, but I was just expecting a bigger sell-off. And this PFPT, this one wasn't the perfect setup. What it did, it had already, bounced on us. It set up one day, but then Friday, gave us that pullback, which would have given us a better, an entry back where we would have entered on Thursday. But, I don't like these so much because these tend to grind up versus give us that 2 or 3 day solid move to our target. So, right now I'm just kind of at an impasse on this one. This could be good. It could grind up. We're kind of holding our base support here, but it may be one of those, longer grinding trades. And I like the ones that's gonna mature in 2 to 5 days. I like to get in no later than Monday, no later than Tuesday. And I like these things to mature in 2 to 5 days. So by Friday, I can be out, or I would have taken profit to where I can decide, is this worth risking holding over the weekend, or should I just lock in everything I got now and start fresh Monday? So I like being in that position. All right, so we looked at, CONE. This one took a nosedive yesterday, as did a couple of these that had, that were holding on to the 20. This one lost it, pulled all the way back. And this is what, it pulled all the way back to the 50. So I don't know, this might have taken itself out of contention. And DKS, same. You look at this chart, looks the same. It just didn't. It just didn't. No, this one didn't quite make it to the 50, but it did pull back. ERI. This one is still holding it, but you can see it didn't really have much going for it yesterday. It still held it. This one, maybe a dud. So depending on what happens today, I may drop it, send it packing. And the last one, TDOC. This one actually made a 52-week high yesterday. It did break it, but it didn't hold it. Close week. And this morning, our first hit was a gap down. So this may be dead too. It was a bad sign that it did push up, but it couldn't hold and close weak. So that is that. And so that's the run through for our watch list. We didn't do it yesterday. Like I said, the market was down. So there was no need in wasting time looking at it or even looking to see. I wasn't going to take a trade anyway because I don't like trading against the market on these. All right, so I don't really see anything else hitting. Don't really see anything else hitting right now. Nothing else has any volume. You know, JBL is the only one that's reporting this morning, but it doesn't have any volume yet. Does not have any volume. So I can't put it on my watch. Now if it wakes up at the open, sets up for a secondary play, yeah. Absolutely, I will jump on it. No, DLR has plenty of volume. DLR is an offering for 113. And it's trading, you know, right around 112.65 now. So, you know, sometimes you see openings for stocks that have offerings, but this one went right to the price and it's kind of hanging around there. So I don't see much. So SQ and KORS is going to be my watch. And, you know, JBL for secondary if it gets volume. It's going to need something to drive it. All right, so I gotta focus this morning, not get out of hand like I did yesterday. I was just too pumped and too excited about yesterday. No, I would not trade Facebook. Even with 50 shares, I wouldn't trade it because I wouldn't be able to give it enough range to let it work. You know, right now the account's not at that point where I can give it more range and take on more risk. You know, I gave back half of what I made last week yesterday. Well, what you do is you look at the range on the you look at the ATR, and you look at the range on the candlesticks once it gets going. You know, right now we're averaging about 60 cents, giving it a 60-cent range. But once it gets going, you're going to need to give it probably over a point. And right now I can't stand that. You know, maybe in a couple of weeks I can, but right now I can't. Yeah, that's the one thing. You know, if there's any negative to trading the higher price stocks, it's going to be, you know, giving it more range. You know, some of them are going to have candles that have a range of, you know, 1 or 2, even 3 points. And to trade those, you're going to have to be willing to deal with that in order to get the big gains. And if your account size isn't to the point where you can risk what you need to make it work, then you need to stay away from it. You know, I know, like I've been saying, you know, trading smaller size, you're handcuffed because you're limited to what stocks you can trade. You know, yeah, you can always go and chase these low price, low float stocks. But again, you got to be willing to risk that, because just as fast as you make $500, you can lose it. The way these guys move. So I like the slower moving, trend following trades. Now, granted, sometimes these larger price stocks do get moving pretty quick the first part of the day. You know, the first 15 minutes is when you see a lot of volume in, a lot of volatility, and sometimes they do move. You know, too many times I've gotten in a trade, and before I could get my first target in, it's already down there and moving back up, and I miss my profit off. You know, luckily it doesn't happen too often, but often it does. It does do it often enough to where I have to be a little concerned about that. Yep, TNDM just hit the scan. Let me see, did they have an analyst upgrade this morning? I don't see any news. Okay, looks like they just filed a regulated disclosure and financial exhibit. So they increased their sales guidance, which is typically what the market typically looks at that as being positive. Let's take a look at the daily chart here. So what we're looking at, let's see, 52.55 is a 52-week high. And we're kind of trading in between this. So there's a big window of opportunity here to the upside. If it can get volume and get going in the morning, this morning, you know, this thing can give us a good opportunity. So this is another one you can add to the watch. See if it gets going. So we got 3 good ones. JBL is just kick. It should pop up here in a minute. No, it shouldn't, because it doesn't have a dollar gap. So it's not going to hit our pre-market scan. JBL just picked up the volume it needed, but it just hit 50K. But it doesn't have at least a dollar gap. Only has a 1.9% or 58 cent gap down. So that's not going to hit. I didn't pay attention to that earlier. Yeah, it looks like I was supposed to be recording, the watch list session and all that stuff. But evidently I hit streaming. So I'm looks like I'm streaming on YouTube as well. But that's fine. Yeah, I looked at my computer and it said Average Joe Trader is live streaming. Like, what? Okay. So I cut it on and saw it. So, yep. But hey, we'll let it run. Well, Nike is one that I'm looking at trading after hours. I'm not looking at trading it intraday. I'll be watching it to see, how they're going to position it going into the close. I'll be watching it. But that's my earnings watch for this evening. Yeah, so hopefully I can do something. Well, like I was saying earlier, NTNX would have been fine had I managed it. I didn't manage my risk, so it turned into a nightmare. I was a little bit aggressive on it, and if I was wrong, then that's fine. Take it off. But I couldn't admit to myself that I was wrong. I couldn't believe. It's like for 2 weeks I've been watching stocks take off on the 2-minute chart. And I was like, well, today, I'm going to take advantage of it. And I tried to take advantage of it, and it didn't work. So, I got caught off guard, and emotions got the best of me. So, yeah, I typically put a hard stop in. I typically do, but I usually wait until after the first candle, and then I put a hard stop in. But I never got a chance to do that. It got away from me before it even did that. No, before I could even look, I was already down more than what I should have been. It had already gone past where I would stop out. So I just kind of froze a little bit and just like, well, this has to come back. I'm not wrong on this. So that was my fault. Yeah, and manage my risk. When I say manage my risk, that means I didn't stop. I didn't follow my trade plan. I had a plan to stop out at a predetermined, price. Like, I was giving it 50 cents. So I was giving it, not only did I take an aggressive entry, but I was giving it twice as much as I normally would give in terms of max loss. And so I was really, maximizing my risk tolerance on that trade. But I just didn't manage it. I let it go. JBL, see, it finally got that dollar gap. Without that dollar gap or that 4%, it's not going to hit. So yeah, JBL could be in play as well. Let's see. Yeah, SQ. And KRS. Okay, so today I'm going to have to be patient. And wait for the setup. Let's check the levels on JBL though. Since it has hit our man, this is ugly. Look at this. This is an ugly chart here. Oh, the last couple of weeks, it hasn't really looked good at all. And this thing has a lot of support down here. Yeah, I don't know about this. I'd be surprised if it did much. Man, that's a lot of support. Ooh. Alright, so this one I'll change. This is right at the 50, so I'll make it yellow. You got the 50 and the 100 sitting there. The 200's at 27.95. Man, it looks like it's just not respecting that at all. So, I mean, if it can move through all of this, if it does all this work early, this thing has, we may have a chance with this. Wow. All right, so let's get ready to rumble here. See if we get anything. Get anything heading our way. Let's see, I had to reset this last night. I updated it. So let's see if it works out right. All right. So we're between 87.44. Which is the 20. And 92.92, that's a little bit further up. So I can't mark it on there. But this is probably the closest support that we have on that. Let's see, JBL, man, this surprised me. It's already through all of that. Damn. This thing is really getting going. I hate this, man. I hate these stocks that get going before the market even opens. Takes up the whole trading range. takes up the whole trading range. The whole move is gone. $27.97. Well, let's just say 30. Man, damn. Really? I mean, really. This thing went from not having a gap and no freaking not having a gap and no freaking volume to look at this. Are you kidding me? Are you flipping kidding me? God, oh, I really killed mine. Yeesh. Wow. Man, had a beautiful setup. It just went a beautiful setup. And had this thing open the way I wanted it to, and we had this thing made. All right, so let's see. See what we're going to end up with. So I'm going to wait. I'm not jumping the gun today. I am not jumping the gun today. Yeah, not really seeing any solid price action right now on anything. Ah, this just popped. This one was kind of teetering around. This one just popped.
Joan.
Man, see, if I had been aggressive on SQ, it would have worked. I'd be up almost a point now. Man, I should have waited a day. I can't get SQ up here. It's just too far. It's too far gone. I just can't take it. See if we can get a pullback to around this pre-market high. That would be good, but I can't. I'm not chasing it up here. I'm not going to chase it up there. We get a pullback where I could manage my risk off of potentially this level or the 9 or whatever. I can be fine with that. But I'm not about to chase that running up like that. Let's see, TND. That's the opening range high there. JBL, I can't get because it's just got too much. It's got too much above it right now for me to take it long.
IQ.
Yeah, KRS didn't get any volume, so that one is done. None of these stocks, JBL nor TNDM, didn't really pick up a whole lot of volume. SQ was the only one that had some volume coming its way. Yeah, KORS just didn't get it just didn't get the volume. So we got about 15 more. We're not getting a whole lot of clean action here.
IQ.
See, KORS right now is sitting on, it was sitting on this red to green. It needed some more volume. But today, all of these stocks are pretty choppy this morning. Yep, you're right. Everything's pretty choppy. We're not seeing any really smooth price action anywhere. And that's what we like to trade. Yeah, I think Thinkorswim is lagging again too. On some charts, yeah. Some charts are lagging, some charts aren't. Like KORS is lagging, but SQ isn't. Go figure.
IQ.
It looks like DLR, the least likely one to even make a move is the one that made a move. This is like the third or the fourth time I've seen that happen this summer. Well, I guess we're in the fall now, but I'll be good with JBL if it gets under the 200 here. I'll give it a run. But I will not short into the daily 200. Even though, it would be a good anticipation, I just can't do it.
IQ.
All right, so I got a couple more seconds on this candle here. Waiting on this to confirm this loss. This hasn't done it yet. See, the low on this was 27.78. I was waiting for it to crack the low of this candle here. So this is typically what you see on moves like this. This doesn't mean that it's not going to work out. It's just that it's fighting back. This 200 on the daily was a big supply zone. So, you got the area above it and the area below it where you got buyers and sellers sitting out. So you could expect, something like this. All right, so we got, I took it on the break. And let's put our stop. Giving it the 28.15. I messed up. I took 200 shares. I shouldn't have done that. So the first target I want to see on this is going to be around 27. So if it gets below 27.20, you can expect me to look to take some profit if it kind of stalls out down there. Right now, I'm kind of disappointed that we're stuck here. Man, this stinks. Alright, so now we got that last 5 minute candle. I can put my stop in. So I got my hard stop set. I'm not going to get burned like I did yesterday. If this doesn't work, then I will have managed my loss. And if I get a good trade later on today, I have a chance of taking myself but I am concerned that this hasn't been able to get away. We should have been testing 27.50 by now. So I'm not really happy at it getting hung up at this $0.25 mark.
DDD.
Yeah, somebody does not want this thing to test 50. This stinks.
CTO. DDD.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. When stocks that move this slow, I typically like to see after 11. You know, this is extremely slow for this time of morning. Come on, get sucked down to 27.50. I want to see a test of 50. I want to see a real test of this trade. So 27.10, this is actually the 5-minute opening range low. So I usually mark that with a solid red line. So I could probably put a target at 27.20, 27.15, somewhere around in there. I need to get this to test. A real test at 27.50. Now see, those guys like Bill and Kip who got in on this rejection, they're able to take half down here. It makes sense. But me being a little bit more conservative and waiting until we get below this 28, this is too early for me to take profit. So if I detect, that this thing is going to turn around or we got a shift in momentum, I just have to kill it and walk away. Because, like I said, I didn't really like the way this thing had stalled out. Once we broke this low, it just kind of stalled out a little bit. We did inch down, but we never got a true test of 50. Never got a true test of 50. Yep, SQ finally popped. Popped over the 52-week high. I mean, not 52-week high. The 5-minute opening range high. Finally popped over it. But you can see this price action is really tough to trade. It's really tough to trade. Let's see, TNDM did good. We had that pullback. Here it held. So we are grinding back up. Here's the opening range high. This was a good target up here. That pre-market high. That's a good target there. Real good target for that one. So even though these stocks are, the price action is a little sketchy today, we're getting some halfway decent moves here. All right, so we're getting some movement on JBL. See if we can get through 30. Let's see, I'll put a target out for 27.20. But we got to get through the $half mark. This was the test I wanted to see on the $half mark. So we are, now here's the issue.
CTO.
We do have a daily level right here. We do have a daily level right here. So I'm anticipating it fading through that. If it holds and it tries to bounce, then I'm going to have to kill the trade. So I'm looking for enough selling pressure to get through this. And let us come down and test this level again. Because at this point, I could do one or two things. I could take half off here. But I don't want to. We haven't really gotten, I hadn't even gotten 50 cents on this. So I don't want to take half off here. If I had to kill it here, I would take it all off. And then potentially reset. But, if this level holds, then the move is pretty much done. But looking at what I see here, looks like we're going to get some selling pressure. More selling pressure here. So we can, this candle is almost over. If we can get a close below this level, and the next candle to start selling a little bit, I think we'll be fine. Still undecided right now. I may have to kill this thing. We'll wait and see. We're still hanging around this level. It needs to get 10 cents below this level to get away from it. All right, come on down here, buddy. My target's 27.20. If we can get close to it, I'll kill it. I'll take half. Why are you being a... Come on down here. Come on, anything through that $quarter mark would be good. Come on. Come on down, the water's fine. Got a little bit of support building at 27.20. There we go. Alright, so I took half off here at 27.19 according to plan. Now, I like to do this a little bit earlier because it may not even get here to test this. So I'm going to take some off a little bit earlier. And I'll put my hard stop back at break even. Well, actually break even plus 5 cents. So 27.70. Just to account for any slippage. So what we're gonna look for this to get through this 5-minute opening range low and the pre-market low. Here the pre-market low got set at 27.10. So, we want to see this work its way through. Like I said, I covered some when I did because there's no guarantee that we're going to come down into the 24 O's to test this. And if it didn't, I wanted to be ready. I wanted to make sure I had locked in some profit. All right, so let's see what it's going to do here. We had the little spike on the 2-minute chart that we normally see. If this candle pushes up and makes a higher high, then I usually kill the trade. That's a deal breaker for me. I'm watching the 5-minute. I'm looking at the trend, but this kind of gives me an idea of what may be happening.
TNDM.
Now, yeah, it does give false signals, but I'd rather be on the front side versus the back side. Profit's the name of the game. If it doesn't do what I want it to do, it doesn't continue, then I need to handle it. All right, I like this. As long as it continues to make lower lows here, we get through this,
TNDM.
we may be in good shape. So we are sitting on some support here. Real good support right here. Just waiting to see if we can crack it. That's what we need to do is crack that. So my next level down is around 26.75 if we can get through this.
TNDN.
No, at the open, it can create, at the open it can generate a lot of volatility that can blast through those levels. So that's why we wait until the first 5 minutes sets in, because a lot of times it will blast through all of that and give us a clean chart, which is what this did. All right, so I'm about to kill this JBL. We may be bouncing here.
TNDN.
Kind of waiting. My fingers on the trigger. We tested the pre-market low. We could not get through it. Pre-market low was 27.10. Plus, there was there's daily support right there as well. And this could be where it bounces. All right, so the last 5 minute candle had a high of 27.31. So anything over 27.35, I'm going to take it.
TNDN.
All right, so I'm out. So I didn't get the follow through that I wanted to see. I wanted to see it crack this level, but we didn't get it. We did not get it, and I didn't want to leave it on. This thing can fail to push this level and start to sell off. So, I can get it under the 5 minute opening range low. I can trade off of that level or the pre-market low. But I'm not going to take a chance on it. The name of the game is locking in profit when you get it. You get 2 trades like this a day, you can grow your account. And that's the mode that we're in, is growing our account. Once we get some money, like in my other accounts, I can trade a lot freer because I've got cushion. But when you're trading a small account, you just don't have cushion. And you have to grow it. The only way to grow it is, by managing your risk, taking profit when you have it. And that's what we're going to do. Now, yeah, when you get more money, you're able to let things go farther, longer. That comes in time.
TNDN.
Man, TNDM did very well. Looks like all the stocks today we had on our watch did pretty good. That one did great. It was an awesome trade. SQ traded like itself, but made a pretty good move here. We pulled back to the pre-market high, which we always look at that as a level of support once we break through it. And right off of that level, you got 2 points. It was really nice. So it doesn't matter. Some days you pick the stock that moves the best. Some days you pick the stock that moves the worst. All right, so here's KRS. I didn't want this. I wouldn't have taken this unless we got below this red to green. And we really haven't gotten away from this yet. So even though this was no, hold on. All right, this was a pre-market low right here. And not pre-market, 5-minute opening range low. And even though it got below this, I couldn't trade it until we established below here. And here, see, we moved through it. This never confirmed. And had I jumped in, this would have stopped me out for sure. And then now here we're making the move back down. So in order for me to take this trade, what's going to have to happen is it's going to have to, number one, move. It's going to have to move through this, bounce, and reject up here again. Then I can feel comfortable taking it. It may be a longer trade, holding it throughout the course of the day, but it'll be a lot safer. The other issue is dadgummit. That's the 200 from the daily right there. So it's just a lot of crap that we got to get through. So don't want to mess, I wouldn't really mess with this. This could work and this could make you some money, but the risk is more than what I want to take on right now. And see, this did actually fail. It didn't push over this. So it did fail.
APC.
There is a possibility that we can get through this. So we got two that's kind of setting up for KORS. I want to see it pull back and retest this. Yeah, I got it at 60, 65, 70, I think. Or close. No, 65, 50. Hell, I can't tell. I can't read numbers this morning. But I can't get it with the 200 sitting there. Yeah, trading a smaller. I I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to change that mindset. That when you start trading, I don't care how much money you gotta trade small. You have to trade um, with smaller size so you can learn how to be disciplined and manage your risk, and then gradually grow. Because you have to be, if you don't have that foundation to fall back on, if something ever happens and you lose your account and you had to start over, if you don't have a foundation, it's going to be very difficult. So for me, I've got to, that foundation that I have, I can start over. Just like I've done, 6 or 7 times just to show, it can be done. But I could start over. You could take all my money and I could start with, $1,500, $2,500, and get myself back to where I need to be. All right, get ready to take another shot at this JBL. Looking to it's got to crack. It's got to get through that 2710. Yeah, you're right. If you can't make $50 a day consistently, why would you think you can make $500 a day? Just by adding more money, all you're gonna do is lose more. If you add more to a losing proposition, it's not gonna end well. So, that's my philosophy. And some people don't like it because they move too slow, or they don't see as much progress as they want to. But this is a slow process, and it's exactly that. It is a process. And not all of us are like those babies that can just stand up one day and start walking. There's a small percentage that can do that. And there's a small percentage of people learning how to trade that just catch on and they just got it. They're just natural. But, it's just like teaching. Some people are just natural at teaching, and then some, they really have to work for it. They have to go to school. They have to learn techniques and all of this stuff to try to be a good teacher. But a lot of teachers are just natural. They're able to just be themselves and get their point across. So, and yeah, and what happens when you've been trading that 2K account for over a year and you can't get anywhere? It's you probably doing the same thing that I was doing to myself with this account here. Is when I started, this was the first time I ever started with $1,000, so that got in my head, and I put too much pressure on myself, and I started trying to make things grow too fast because I wanted to get away from this feeling of being handcuffed and being, under the gun. So I tried to do things too fast, try to grow it too fast, had unrealistic expectations. So I just kept, every time I made a little bit, I ended up right back where I started from. And I'd have a day like yesterday where I just got overly excited, got too aggressive because I thought the market was here, and just messed myself up. Gave back half of what I made last week. And so now, you don't come out here today trying to make it up. I'm just taking whatever trades the market gives me. I'm not trying to force anything. I'm not trying to, add more size to make a little bit more money. If it takes me 3 days to make up what I lost yesterday, and I end the week flat, then hey, that's a win. Because I learned from my mistake, I corrected the problem, and I moved on. Exactly. Focus on good trading and not the P&L. Exactly. Yeah, you got to forget about the money and just keep on trucking. All right, so I think my morning is pretty much done. Everything's kind of flattening out and kind of reversing a little bit. The volume is kind of going away. It looks like it's going to be trading in a. We may be trading in a little channel here. So we'll sit back and wait and see if there's something that I can jump into later on. Cut the news on and see what's happening. But I am curious to see if KRS is going to fade the 200 here from the daily. Now I am curious as to whether it's going to do that. But everything is kind of trading a little more choppier right now. My life changed tremendously. I had a lot more freedom. I was able to go to every activity that my kids had and didn't have to ask for permission, to take off work and all that stuff. So, I mean, it was really great. Yeah, I still teach. I mean, yeah, I, that's the one thing I did miss a little bit. And, when I left Warrior Trading, I had, I still wanted to teach and try to help people, achieve the same thing I achieved. Connect to guys that were in the same position I was in. I was just an average, everyday, regular guy living from paycheck to paycheck. So, I wanted to continue doing that. But I still teach the classes for new teachers that are coming in from industry. They have to get certified. So I teach those certification classes on the weekend. So, and then, during the summer, I'll teach those. So I still get to interact with teachers, and I enjoy seeing the passion and the excitement that these guys that are coming from industry like I did, wanting to get into teaching. That's a lot of fun. Yeah, you're right, Michael. The problem is everybody wants immediate success. We are programmed for instant gratification. I mean, that's just the way this world has programmed us. We want stuff now. We don't want to have to work hard for it anymore, because we think that technology has advanced so much that it can eliminate all of this time that we used to spend having to learn something. Yeah, I mean, you're at that age. I mean, I wish I was 30, 20, or 30. You know, because I could take this. I take this show on the road, but you know, you have so much potential to not have the boundaries that a lot of us had. You know, with the internet, you can do this anywhere in the world. Because the coolest thing for me was when I went to Turks and Caicos and was in another country, a tropical island, and I took a trade, you know, and was able to make money. You know, that was the first time that I was able to do that, you know, outside of the country in a place like that. It was just, you know, so when you get to that point, you can do this anywhere in the world. You've got good internet, you can do it. And I even had bad internet. You know, my internet was really sketchy. But you know, I was able to work it out. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, get your trading on the beach picture. I couldn't trade on the beach because I couldn't get a signal out there. But I was able to trade looking at the beach. So that was cool. Yeah, that's motivation right there, Mike. Reading that reading that 2 week notice. That's motivation right there. So I'm debating on whether I should give this another whirl. Not sure. I'm just gonna wait it out. It's the volume is just dying too much right now. So I'm just gonna wait. See if we can nail something later on. Or just wait for Nike to decide aftermarket. See what we can do with that. Yeah, it's great. And the thing is, you know, the traditional work 30, 40 years and retire mentality is not there anymore. You got a lot of people that work real good money jobs. They work from home. You know, my sister works for a pharmaceutical company, and I mean, and you know, I mean, her paycheck is humongous. You know, she makes in a month what a lot of people don't make in a year. But she works from home. Now, yeah, she'll travel every now and then, but she doesn't have to pay for that. You know, the conferences for these pharmaceutical people are second to none. You know, and her husband works from home too. So, you know, a lot of the mentality that we're going to work 30, 40 40 years and then retire. It's just out the door. All right, we'll see you. You have a good one too. Yep, I'm getting ready to shut it down here. Go to lunch in a bit. And you know, this worked out great. I might do this again soon. You know, I accidentally hit stream this morning instead of record. So it's been probably a year since I streamed live on YouTube. I had so many issues back then, I just didn't do it anymore. But this is pretty cool. I might look at doing this once a week or so again. All right, guys. You guys that joined me today on YouTube by chance. You know, thanks for hanging out. And yep, I'll probably look at doing this again, maybe once a week like I used to. I know I used to do that probably a year ago, or maybe a little bit more than a year ago. Worked out pretty good, so. You guys take care, and I will see you the next time.